Hey, this is Doug Fields, CEO of the Institute for Healthcare Consumers, along with my co-host, Brent Macy, Managing Director. Welcome back to this segment of Healthcare Consumers Radio. And, joining us is another very innovative company. And there's a lot of innovation taking place in this space. And another example of that is a company called MyBodycount. And joining us to lead that discussion is their CEO and co-founder, Teresa O'Keefe. Teresa, good morning.
Good morning, almost afternoon. How are you?
I'm great. Nice to talk to you. And to our audience, we go back with Teresa. Teresa, has been in consumers in space for a while. She was at ConnectYourCare for a while, one of the leading platforms in the space. So good to talk to you again.
And we're grateful to re-engage with the community after quietly executing for the last couple of years. So this is good timing, and we appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Glad to have you. Talk to us exactly about, tell us what it is MyBodycount. What exactly is MyBodycount?
Okay. The MyBodycount health score tells you what your body tells us about your health behaviors. So put another way, your body count is a numerical calculation of risk based on a specific panel of biomarkers that are largely impacted by your health behaviors. And those include diet, exercise, tobacco use, and medication adherence. So we're really focused on the biomarkers that reflect those behaviors. For sponsors of MyBodycount, today that's employers and health plans, we act as a health score bureau, connecting consumers to sponsors as they move between employers, health plans, and exchanges over their lifetime. So MyBodycount is a clinical health score developed by researchers from Johns Hopkins. It's portable to consumers, and in the future will be available direct to consumers through retail clinics and other consumer outlets. Our scores are architected to be web services, so we can be the intel inside other consumer and industry solutions. And we invite everybody to check out their score on our website, mybodycount.com. So the score math is exposed, and there's an estimator tool where you can plug in the numbers if you know them.
What spurred this idea, Teresa? I think it's outstanding. I see where you're going. Where did you come up with this concept?
Well, I got the idea from a combination of my experience at ConnectYourCare and then working as a consultant in the incentive and health management industries. I saw the genesis of wellness with traditional coaching companies and other biometric screening solutions, and these were good solutions, but these solutions were not available in the direct-to-consumer market. And I developed a theory that if a product isn't in the direct-to-consumer market, if it can't stand on its own legs in the direct-to-consumer market, if it's not valuable and frictionless to the consumer, then it's a tough sell to obtain high levels of uptake in an employer benefit program. So we have an intense focus on the messaging around privacy and value to the consumer. That said, today we're going to market through corporate wellness programs and developing commercial products for health plans, but we're keeping a laser focus on the consumer user experience.
Teresa, as a consumer, why does this benefit me, and will this be used to deny insurance in some ways?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. Our health score provides a perpetual roadmap to good health. So today it can be used as a currency, and soon we'll be able to show consumers their health care costs. In the future, if they continue the path that we're on, we effectively plan to enable consumers to monetize their health. And regarding the denial of insurance or underwriting, when healthcare reform is fully implemented as it's written or intended, you theoretically cannot be denied insurance or charged more in any marketplace. And if it's repealed or parts of it are repealed, well, the insurance industry as well as the entire healthcare industry has spent the last 7 to 8 years going through the machinations of implementing healthcare reform, and it would go into a tailspin. So the healthcare industry, along with HHS, wrote Obamacare, and dismantling it effectively goes up against the entire health industry.
Now,
regardless of policy, health plans already know a lot about consumers. If you just take a look at pharmacy transactions, information about consumers is readily known. Regarding employers, we don't give employers PHI, only aggregate reporting. We can conduct non-discriminating outcomes-based programs and not disclose PHI, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But the PBMs and the industry already has lots of information, and I tell people to go to IntelliScript, because if you want to see what health plans already know about you, they already know all of your prescription information for the last 10-plus years. So that's a very good indicator of the types of conditions that you have or health challenges.
Now, Teresa, if I'm an employer out there, how can I use MyBodycount in my wellness program that I offer, and how is MyBodycount taking wellness kind of to the next level with what you're doing?
Well, we have a philosophy that each person needs to find their own path to their well-being, and employers facilitate this through work-life balance policies that enable people to minimize the stress in their lives, like flexible schedules, and provide MyBodycount as a measure of health. The Start to a Best Practice program involves a MyBodycount screening and a participation incentive to an account. I'm giving a little plug to CDH World there, a wellness account that employees use for whatever they want, whether it be swimming pool fees or triathlon fees or even a sleep monitoring device like Sense, which I think is awesome. We're just starting to crack the nut on how much sleep affects our well-being. But all of these solutions are the choice of the consumer. And I think that health plans, employers can offer weight loss programs, smoking cessation, etc. But for the rest of the community that's already taking care of themselves, let them have the opportunity to spend an incentive dollars on well-being types of activities. So we're collecting a suite of best practice local and national companies that are generally available to consumers directly, but as recommendations in our program if employers don't have those kinds of incentives.
Now, when you look at so to look at this, so the screening and the testing is necessary to get the score, and then what do you say to people that push back on let's say the hassle of getting their employee population screened or tested?
Well, I say that your blood doesn't lie. Seriously, as we start rethinking what prevention means and as medicine evolves through the science of genetics and we start understanding more about personalized medicine, having a biometric screening a couple of times a year will become commonplace and have less friction for the consumer. I can give you two examples why. There was a recent article published about Johns Hopkins cancer researchers called Spotting Cancer in a Vial of Blood. So you can Google it, Spotting Cancer in a Vial of Blood. It speaks to breakthroughs being made to detect tumor DNA in a blood sample called a liquid biopsy. It's absolutely fascinating. So think in the not-too-distant future, if there's a history of cancer in your family, you'll be able to have regular blood tests to detect it long before the symptoms arise. The second thing is that's happening in the industry is testing breakthroughs and testing methodologies where we can just use a drop of blood to get all of the biomarkers that we need. And there's a company out of Stanford that's doing a lot of work in that area. Also, my colleagues at Hopkins work with researchers around the world, and I hear about testing through a hair, just a piece of your hair. So who knows, in 5 years, maybe we can use a hair from your arm and a drop of blood and be able to get your body count and know a whole lot about you.
That's pretty incredible. So what are your current driving initiatives? What's MyBodycount up to right now?
Well, we've launched Phase 2 of score development. We plan to come out with a consumer health score every 12 months or so as science and testing technology evolves, and we can package more biomarkers that fit into the profile and reach a price point for the marketplace. We're collaborating with industry to produce different scores for different populations and usage. So we're leveraging our intellectual property and relationships to become a score factory of sorts. So we're also planning betas with larger populations. So if there's any progressive employers out there that like what we're doing, please give us a shout. We're easy to get in touch with. And we have a lot of news planned for this fall. So ultimately, we may come out with some pure consumer products like MyBodycount for women that includes things like vitamin D and calcium and biomarkers that really dig deeper into how our diets are affecting us, but not necessarily reflect the general behaviors in the score that we have now. It's the general score. And we're opening up conversations with other institutions for collaboration on content behavioral science, evidence-based medicine that helps consumers understand the factors that contribute to their behaviors and MyBodyCount.
Now, Teresa, we got about 2 minutes left on the program. Touch on the new white paper that you have out on the new approach to population health management and private exchanges.
Yeah, well, some smart people in the industry are suggesting that we're moving into a real individual or quasi-individual market through public and private exchanges. Mm-hmm. And I've been watching private exchanges closely now for about a year, and they're seeming to make a lot of sense. All the big consultants have bet their business model on them, yeah. So you can believe that they're pulling out all the stops to making them work. But when you get into a private exchange situation, the relationships then change between the employer and the consumer and the health plan get closer, and then there's a new relationship between the consumer and the exchange operator. And it's been said in the general community that population health then becomes a bit nebulous. I mean, employers still want high productivity out of their employees, so they have an interest in population health. But all of a sudden, the health plans, which, in the fully insured models, they're bearing more risk. And the exchange operators can also serve a purpose as far as population health and understanding the risk of the populations that are coming on board. So it's a fascinating case in healthcare economics, and we see a real opportunity to have a score being part of exchanges where ultimately health plans can market to folks based on their body count health score.
Now, Teresa, as we close the segment, let our audience know how they can find you.
Yeah, well, MyBodycount.com, but I'm available at Teresa, Teresa, at MyBodycount.com, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, too.
All right, Teresa, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. To everybody out there, again, $99 Super Saver rate for IHC Forum West is going to be closing Monday at midnight, so make sure you take advantage of the low rates. And thank you again, Teresa, and to everyone else. We will talk to you next weekend. Or
Thank you.
Next
see you
Friday.
In Baltimore.
Yeah, see you in Baltimore. We'll talk to everyone next Friday on Healthcare Consumerism Radio. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.